Well, welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Sorry for the late video. I've actually recorded 2 prior videos, and apparently, for whatever reason, my computer just keeps on corrupting these videos. Very frustrating. I do apologize about that. And, well, we got plenty to talk about anyways. So, time to not focus on all of that boring bullshit. Time to focus on some goddamn magic net money. And with that said, I do want to waste no more time, but I do want to wish you the best, the happiest of the happiest. And let's teleport into that good old live scene, and I'll see you in... There she is. Haha, Bitcoin on the daily. Not Bitcoin on the daily, but Bitcoin on the daily now. And there we go. And of course, on the daily right over here. And this is going to be a little bit more of a sped up video, a little bit more of a shorter video, just because, well, I don't think I can record another hour video long again and have it potentially go in my face. Oh, that's so frustrating. But oh well, it happens. Looking at daily right over here, we see all major movement averages trading, basically Bitcoin trading above all major movement averages. But more importantly, we do see divergence between the red 10 symbol and the yellow 21. So it's strengthening to the upside. We also see divergence between the purple 200 and the blue 377 exponential. So again, trend strengthening to the upside. The last time that we saw a full-on bullish, splaying of all these guys was way back on over here in 2014, 2015, when Bitcoin was around like $400. It looks like, yeah, right on over here is when we saw the last of the Mohicans cross, and Bitcoin setting in the trend for the next three or so years. So I always want to open up with that just because it does talk about the longer term bias. Now, does that mean that Bitcoin can't have like very nasty and very violent moves to the downside? Of course it can. Of course it can. It can, and it will happen, to the tune typically of like 30 to 40%, which I am looking for very specific things kind of line up for that, typically with the 3-day jewel. But with all that said, let's go down to lower time frames and let's see what's going on there, because I would like to follow up what we spoke on yesterday night. And Bitcoin still holding this ascending triangle, and this is really good, really good that we got to watch this yesterday night, just because we saw all these nasty wicks kind of tugging below this trend line here, which probably do scare a lot of people. But this is the exact reason why I don't manage things based off wicks. I manage them based off of closures, so you don't get caught up in the hunts. And this one obviously, accelerating toward the next target right around 93.50ish region. And I am still holding my positions for full disclosure, full transparency. Still, long from about, say I uncovered my positions once again at like 90.60 or 90.70 on my streamer account, 90.50 on my main account, but 90.60 or 90.70 on my streamer account, and then added a little bit on these June futures at 91.80, which spot was right around like maybe like $100 low at that point in time. So about 100,000 contracts cumulatively long, and looking at this as an ascending triangle right over here. Again, for all the people calling this a head and shoulders or bearish divergence, it's just wrong. This is a head and shoulders, makes absolutely zero sense because it doesn't even have the right structure. I mean, you got a left shoulder that's higher than your fucking head. It's like some sort of inverted Quasimodo, motherfucker. That's not good. You need to see the doctor on that one. But more importantly, for all the divergence fuckboys over here, well, if you're going to be calling what we saw yesterday divergence, then you're going to be calling each and every push up divergence. Remember, the most important thing for divergence is comparing local highs, and we have not put in a local high just yet. We've only seen continuation. We have not seen a local high being confirmed, and therefore there is nothing to really compare each other with. And that's just a major mistake that I see a lot of people making, and it's just, it doesn't need to be done, really. Anyways, so as long as Bitcoin's within this region right here, I do lean to the upside as long as it rides this trend line, which does have an apex coming in around the 23rd of June, so about 3 days, in about 3 days. But I do think that we break it relatively soon, probably in the next day or so. The measure move for this ascending triangle would be pointing towards about 9,700 or 9,750-ish region, and kind of make that a zone between 9,750 and about 10,000, because we still do have the measure move on this formation as a whole still pointed up towards 10,000-ish region. So all those things kind of confluent within that same sort of region, and I do think that well, if we can confirm above our next resistance right around 93.75, if you want to call it that, then yes, I would be looking for that target to be met. By the same token, if we do break this rising trend line to the downside here at about 91.30, and you could also just look at this as the 4-hour yellow 21 exponential moving average, then I would be looking for a move back down to about 89.30, 89.50, and probably a small bounce there, I'd imagine, but ultimately likely does fail, and we come all the way down to about 8,500 and fill the gap down here, fulfilling the gap from June 14th on CMEs, which is still very much active. But while we are here on CMEs, this is looking very constructive and looks like it wants to roll to me. Looking at 4-hour Stokes, having a fresh cross the upside, getting the price action pretty damn well, and as we grind a major resistance, I would say that is likely to break to the upside. Looking at daily, we have plenty of room to the daily to the upside on daily Stokes right over here, and we do see that price action again, pushing for new highs. That is typically a good setup overall. So I would be saying both those things, and of course, if we go over here to my GDAX chart, we can see on a higher time frame that this target area is actually confluent with a lot of things. We have the blue box right over here, right, which actually let's just bring down. That's both marking out the target from the measure move from the ascending triangle, and then also this greater formation right here. Both pretty much confluent between about 9,700 to 10,000ish region. But if I pull it out just a little bit more, you'll notice that also we're kind of rounded out by the 382 Fibonacci retracement, which a lot of people are talking about right now as well. Is that important? Yes, it is important because it is from the ultimate high to the ultimate low so far, and that would suggest that typically we do see some bot activity selling in that region just by the nature of their programming. But we do see also that this is kind of like the lower echelon of it, and realistically, this whole area is resistance from about 9,500 to 10,000. So I would be cautious of hunts, and I would be cautious of fake outs just because there are things within this region that are a little bit scary. However, what is more statistically likely is that we actually do make it up to the 0.5 or even the 618, but that's way far away. But the 0.5 is more statistically likely on a rebound than the 382, especially in a stronger market. So when I look at something like this, and I do pair it up with the volume profile, we do see that the volume profile also agrees. The last of the higher value nodes is within the 0.5 region. Yes, we do see some around the 382 as well, but the reaction hasn't been very pronounced as of yet. And I would put more weight on the not 0.5 region just because that is our double top from about 11,400 in February of 2018. What's up? What's up, Alice? Good to meet you, man. Good to have you in here. So I keep my eyes on that area because that's going to be a bigger pivot for the overall market. If and when Bitcoin does get above that region, as you can see from the volume profile, there's extremely low market acceptance above that region. So Bitcoin would be extremely likely to rip hard as fuck above the 0.5 retracement. Of course, we even see it right now. Bitcoin's getting like pretty floaty on the on the lower time frame. So it would it'd be even more so above the 0.5 region, and that's really what I mean by can rip back above that region. If we do break this area, but of course that's a more long-term consideration. Obviously right now we're nowhere near, and it's not going to happen anytime soon, I'd imagine. So yep, I did want to talk about all of that. Of course, lower time frames, still pretty much for the most part unchanged. We do see that very low time frames, like 4 hour and under, do look like they want a little bit of downside here, probably a little bit of a pullback, maybe back down to 9250, maybe 9200, even somewhere right around here, maybe even test this trend line once again. But overall, we do see that the medium time frames in higher time frames want some more continuation. So this is your hourly Stokes are technically coming down right now, and a little bit of a rejection off this trend line. Hourly RSI is still that of consolidation, so I'm not really viewing this as much more than that. 2 hour right over here, same thing. 2 hour Stokes getting way up there, looking a little bit tired. Looking at 2 hour RSI, the exact same signature pretty much as the hourly. 3 hour still headed up, so good. 4 hour just having a fresh cross up. So now we're starting to get into the medium time frames, and yes, they are looking a little bit better. So I would say that I would say that the very low time frames looking for a pullback, medium to higher time frames still a continuation most likely. And how many hourlies can you fit into a 4 hour dildo? Well, 4. and so we see that even on a 2x frame right over here, we got 8 hour Stokes looking like they want to cross back up to the upside, looking a little bit weak to the downside. 8 hour RSI looking constructive as well, just regaining the exponential. So I do like the signature overall, and more importantly, this is really holding it in nice and high and tight. And of course, the higher time frame that we go, just the more constructive that this actually does end up looking. So I really do like what I'm seeing here. We do see 12 hour Stokes actually headed down right now, but price action's essentially been flat. 12 hour RSI just consolidation is what we're looking at. And of course the daily right over here, we still see daily Stokes to the upside, and daily RSI, again, and shout out to Jackie for this one in the program Discord, looking pumpy, and I would agree with that. It looks constructive is the way they like to say it. Basically just oscillating between the bullish control zone and the neutral zone. Looks to me like it wants to give another attempt. And yes, we will create some bearish divergence at some point in time, but that would imply actually, some more momentum being gained first and foremost, as we do need to create a local high first. 2 day right over here. Of course, 2 days worth talking about just because the 2 day Stokes have been accurately calling things to the upside, and we do have a fresh cross. Well, not necessarily a fresh cross the upside, but it is cross the upside right there. 3 day, obviously, I think we already looked at that, but just looking like continuation still as well. And more importantly, for the 3 day Jewel is what I really want to keep an eyes on, because this light blue has caught wind of our, of our slower support. If you have access to this one, yours is probably yellow. yellow, mine's white, and I'm looking for this to bounce it up, as we spoke about coming into this week, that when we come down to this region, I would be looking for a bounce, and that's kind of what we're getting right now. The next big sell, the next big like selling spree that I'll be looking for, and in the next like major violent down to the tune of like 30 to 40% is if and when we get this light blue oscillator into this more critical territory outlined and embodied by these red dotted alert trend lines, which historically speaking, when we get the light blue oscillator into that region, get red in the background and then get a negative slope on it, we get some extremely nasty pullbacks, like I said, to the tune of 30 to 40%. So right over here is an example, you got about 33%. Right over here is an example, you got about 40%. Right over here is another example, you got about 40%. Again, you get the idea, and that's kind of what I'm looking for the next like major sell-off. Does that mean that we can't have like downs in between that? Yes, of course. We even had one right over here, which was also shown by the jewel, although the jewel signal on this one, obviously the light blue was not in the very critical territory, so it wasn't as nasty. It was only about about 18%, 19%, so it's still significant, but not so bad. Again, that's kind of what I have my eyes on for those for those massive dropbacks. Anyways, go check out. We looked at CME. Let's go look at GBTC really quick. 11 spot 46. Yeah, looking okay here. GBTC does look like it's okay here. 4 hour looks very constructive. Looks like it wants to take a leg up, and we got 4 hour Stokes. Looking like they want to have across the upside. Let's go check out the longs and shorts of it all. We see longs at about 23,700 and shorts at 25,000 and a quarter. But 2,500, you guys are hedged, so it's really 22,500 open naked shorts versus almost 24,000 open naked longs. So we do have some downwards pressure on price action there. That would not be interpreted as good, but more importantly, both sides have plenty of dry ammo, and that would imply that we're going to see a massive move relatively soon. In fact, looking at the hourly historical volatility percentile, we see it get extremely low right here. So I would be looking for a major move probably in the next day or two. 24 to 36 hours, I'd say, is probably quite likely. Last time we saw it get this low was over here on 2nd of June, and before that 26th of May. So before this pump over here for about $1,000 or almost $1,000, and before this dump over here of about $1,000 as well. A little bit more than $1,000. So it does have some good historical validity to it, and I do put some weight on it. But just another thing kind of lining up saying, hey, we are getting damn close to seeing resolution of this, of this current formation. Also, if we look at volume signature right here, we have that nice orderly drop off in volume going from left to right. So I would say that this is quite mature and ready to explode probably in the next day. Maybe even sooner rather than later. So that's what I have to say about that. Like I said, going to be a little bit more of a shorter video today. I will show the crypto fear and greed index. We are ticking out an 81, which is quite high, historically speaking. This is one of the highs that we've seen in the past year. But just like in the bear market of 2018, we spent a lot of time getting comfortable in the lower echelons of this. Even spending a month or so in like the extreme fearful. We can spend probably some time up here as well. And I probably wouldn't be looking for tops until we get like 85 plus on this read. So again, Bitcoin. Bitcoin finding some comfort in that area, but it would be suggesting a little bit more on the air of caution from a macro perspective, which I would agree with. Bitcoin actually selling a little bit further down here, so might actually even be hitting our target, or that target that I just spoke about at the beginning of this video. By the time I'm ending it, right around 9250 to 9200. Anyways, so let me get back on over and into. I guess we can just briefly cover up the alts. You can look at Link. Jesus Christ, man. Link's still holding it true, but looks like it wants probably come back down to about 18,700. Still kind of flagging out, looking overall okay. Let's see, Cardano over here, looking very bad, coming down to our last line of support, kind of like this last echelon right here. Probably does try a little bit of a bounce, but ultimately most alts not looking too damn good. In fact, I'm just going to do this for all of the altcoin charts versus Bitcoin. I'm just going to point you towards the Bitcoin dominance chart, which is very, very bullish right here. Looking at I think this is a weekly Stokes have been down for a while, for the last like 4 or 5 weeks, while price action has been basically sideways to up. That's pretty fucking bullish right there. 3-day is bullish. 2-day is bullish. Daily is bullish. Monthly is mega bullish. Again, I'm looking for more upside on this, and even if we did have a little bit of a small pullback, I mean, shit, I think we even just had that yesterday. I do think that this one accelerates towards the next target of 61. So again, that's gonna not look that's not gonna look too damn, or that's not gonna look good for many alts. Let's go check out SPYs for a second. I'm gonna skip everything else just because I do want to get this video out. We're at 293 spot 06, so I didn't really have too many ideas on SPY coming into this week. My only idea was, hey, if we take out the high of 291.5, we're gonna probably see 294 to 295, and that's basically where we are right now. And I am starting to get bullish once again on traditional markets. This is powerful as fuck right here. We see weekly Stokes wanting to cross back up to the upside as we approach our farmer highs. That's a good setup. Weekly RSI regaining the exponential as well. This is starting to look pretty good. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go back to Bitcoin just really quick and wrap up the lower time frames. And we see that 4 hour again, pretty much unchanged since we saw yesterday night. Just taking a move towards the upper side of our range. Still 3 trend lines that matter. The upper trend line right around 93.75. If that breaks the upside, I guess I would have a target towards 97 to 10,000. If this rising trend line right here breaks to the downside, I would be looking for a move immediately towards 89.50 and probably does bounce a little bit there, but I would be looking for then this trend line to probably break to the downside and we initiate a move back down to about 8,500. So for right now, Bitcoin still, as long as it maintains this area, I do have a bullish bias. I do think that it hits those, I do think that it takes it out to the upside and we see some more momentum being gained. So with that said, I'm going to leave you off. Again, I do apologize for the shorter video. My apology, my bad about that. Very frustrating from my own end. Hopefully I can fix that before tomorrow so I don't have the same issue. But hey, do want to wish you well, and I'll be back on later with some more live stream analysis. So see you there, and take care.